10 things you should know before you go to Everest. If you are in Nepal or planning to move to Nepal, then note it down, you will be in the most exciting destination in the world. Ascending to the elevation of 8,848 meter above sea level, which is the altitude where commercial flights used to fly. There is no doubt Mount Everest is the ultimate place for mountaineering and challenging yourself in life. Everest lies in between the border of Nepal and the autonomous Chinese region of Tibet. Thousands of climbers are trying to climb the world's highest mountain for the past 70 years. It is also likely to be one of the best bucket lists of every mountaineer, especially those who wanted to conquer each of those 7 summits in Nepal. It is also a fact that not everyone will succeed to climb those peaks at the top level, and also everyone who wants to climb couldn't get permits easily. Schedule and price are also the ultimate or the biggest limiting factors. To hire a guide is taken as an expensive undertaking, and especially there is no guarantee of success. Another you must need to do is apply for a permit. There will be 100% risk of being caught if you go climbing without a permit. In the following, we have given all the information on the 10 things that you should know before you go to Everest. Some of the things that will help climbers to go to the Everest region of the country. 1. Cost to climb Everest. You can expect at least $35 for each individual when a climber heads towards the world's highest peak, Mount Everest expedition. In the same way, if you depend on the guide and include it in the packages, then your trip may also cost about $50 and above according to the condition. If you climb Mount Everest alone, then may costs. Similarly, you need to hire a local Sherpa to carry all of your gears will cost the amount of $20. Talking about the guide's fees, food, equipment, accommodation, insurance, and oxygen bottles each. The overall figure out of the cost of the different tools is designed by the tour agency. The climbing roof of the world is something extraordinary that you achieve in your lifetime. 2. Difficulty level to climb Everest and main risks at Everest. Climbing the world's highest peak is hard. Talking about the history of the climbers who attempted to climb Mount Everest is about 30% succeed to make a summit. Now in the present, the percent has accordingly increased to 50%. This is how, due to the restrictions made by the Chinese government from their land in Nepal, has opened for all. There must be good health conditions, including your physical capabilities to climb Everest. There is also a figure of climbers who have to spend their 1 year training to make individually capable to climb Everest. To climb, you must complete the provision of AD-rated climbs with the experience certificate of high altitude. If there is an adventure, then there is also a risk factor. Generally, some of the risk factors in the Everest region are exposure during a storm, ice falls, heart attacks, frostbite, avalanches, and so on. So, the main idea of Everest climbing is a risk and death factor. You can go there thinking either die or do. 3. The starting point to Mount Everest. There are 2 sides to Everest climbing in the world, one from Tibet, China side, and the Nepal side in Solakumbhu district. The starting point of adventurous Everest climbing from the Nepal side started from Kathmandu. Most of the guides will help to arrange for Nepal to come to welcome you at Tribhuvan International Airport. This place also offers direct flights to major international airports. Talking about the Tibetan side, you can explore the Himalayas and begin your expedition from Lhasa. Most of the guides in that place will arrange to meet you at Lashigangar Airport, LXA. This will help to offer the Chinese to the international airport. 4. A place to stay while climbing. When you have confirmed to climb Everest from the region, you will get a chance to have an overnight stay at a camp that has been set up by the Sherpa guide who trek with you in your whole journey. If you claim to climb Everest from the Tibetan side of the border, then you will be able to stay in a hotel that is before driving to the camp, which is the first base camp, and on the same day they began to climb. Talking about the Nepalese side, you will get the chance to stay in the Sherpa community, which is neither hotel nor lodge, but, surely, you will get amazing hospitality other than ever in such a place while climbing Everest. Staying in the various villages as you make the 10-day trekking to the base camp of the world's highest peak, Everest. Similarly, you will be staying in the local villages of Sherpa or camp overnight, which is more dependent on your arrangements of the guide. 5. The weather condition in the Mount Everest region. One of the best times that you need to pack your bag for climbing Everest is in late April and May, This is taken as a window of opportunity for humans for having hospitality. It starts before the monsoon season and in the brutal winter. When we climb from the Tibetan side, then we can witness better weather conditions rather than from the side of Nepal. Whatever you climb the most glorious mountain in the world, the weather condition automatically changes. But sometimes we can get an opportunity to see the most exquisite beauty of the Himalayas when the weather condition is good. In some of the moments, clear days will automatically convert into blizzards. While moving towards the summit, you can expect the temperature of -10 degrees Celsius to -25 degrees Celsius 5 gets excluding chill. The speed of wind reaches 250 km per hour at the time of the monsoon season. 6. The time required to climb Everest. To reach the world's highest peak summit of Everest will take almost 60 days from the initial point of Mount Everest in Sagarmatha National Park as we go from the Nepalese side. This will include the activity of arriving in Kathmandu. In the same way, you will be transferred to the Lukla airport utilizing airway transportation. Hiking to Everest from the Lukla, acclimatizing by preparing and making an ascent which is final while climbing to this region. In the same way, the last part of the journey takes about the time of 6 days to head towards this region. There may be the chances of a long time that need to spend if the weather condition does not cooperate with us. If you are thinking to climb Everest from the Tibetan side, it will take a time of 50 days from the initial phase of climbing. This also includes the itinerary of arriving in Lhasa, then transfer to the Tibetan base camp of this region, acclimatizing, and at the end process making and preparing a final ascent. Although the final ascent inside this region also takes more than 5 days. 7. Experience climbing Mount Everest. A climber who wants to make the world's highest mountain summit must have previous experience of climbing on various other mountains in the world. You should have some experiences of climbing on the rugged rock mountain, steep snow mountain, slipper snow place, and exposed terrains, and must be familiar with a crevasse with lots of experience in travel techniques. We recommend you to climb the mountain above 8000 m peaks at least before trying to attempt the world's highest peak, Mt. Everest. Climbing only can be done by taking permission from the government of Nepal and China. You require to hire a guide so that both countries will be ready to provide an experienced guide for such a wonderful expedition in the Himalayas. You will get all the facilities for climbing the Himalayas if you are ready for it and paid all the requirements before the expedition. Some of the important infrastructures for the expedition are ropes, axes, camps, and so on. They are necessary for climbing. 8. Equipment needed for the expedition to Everest. Every expedition is related to the safety of the climber. So, it is also said that safety is compulsory first. Here are some lists of equipment that are needed for the expedition in the Everest region. Always ask your guide for the items needed for climbing that you don't get missed. In the following, you can get the information necessary for that activity. Crampons, ice axes, ascender, carabiner system, alpine climbing harness, climbing helmet, belay device, trekking poles, water purification kit, ski goggles, nose guard and face mask, sunscreen, sun hat, buff, and knit cap, -30 to 40 liter, and 55 liter backpacks, toiletries bag, headlamp. Appropriate clothing for about 60 days in mountaineering trip with a temperature that ranges from 30 degrees Celsius to -30 degrees Celsius. Running shoes, hiking boots, high altitude boots, insulated booties. Down sleeping bag, foam pad, inflatable sleeping bag. 9. Is it possible to climb without an oxygen cylinder in Everest? You may wonder that only 5% of a climber succeeds to climb Everest without an oxygen cylinder. More than dozens of people died due to the lack of oxygen and health complications in the highest altitude of the world during expeditions in Everest. There is a Sherpa who did mountaineer above 8,000 many times in Nepal. This could be a miracle for climbers around the world. Many of the climbers have also repeated to climb Everest and failed to return. Sometimes they do more than once. 10 routes for climbing Everest. There are absolutely 2 countries with 2 routes facilities for climbing Everest. It can be done from the northern face in Tibet and the southern face in Nepal. The routes to Everest start from the base camp of an altitude of 5,380 meters above sea level, and another route in the southern part is also taken as the steepest route and most direct route. This is taken as the most common route, which is not the easiest one to climb. Starting a trip from the northern side that began a journey at the base camp of Everest, it is almost 5,180 m above sea level. Now trekking across the east direction of Rongbuk Glacier. When you also began to ascend from the region, you will get to spend more time or days in this place, while the climbing is followed by a bit easier at all. 10 things you should know before you go.